Welcome. It's a joy to start the new year with you. I'm thrilled. Are you thrilled for this new year? I'm excited for what God is going to do. And it's okay if you're not. You'll catch up with us. This year, we start a new series that I hope will be more than just a series, but something like, whoa, we look back at this moment. This was what changed our lives, called A Better Way. And this is a series about how to change, how to experience lasting change. And I think it's appropriate for this time of year. As many of us, new year, we're thinking new us. Some of us are doing that. I just wonder, for better or for worse, New Year's, it gets us thinking about change. Just take a poll. We did this last year. I'll do this again. How many of us are interested in changing this year in some way? Growing, changing, something good in our lives. Good. That's a lot of us. Who here, it's a little more personal of a question. Who here would be honest enough to say, I've made a resolution? We're not going to get you on stage to tell the resolution. But who would say, yeah, I've written down or I've thought about a resolution that I'm making for this year? Go ahead and raise your hands. Wow, look at all you hopeful people. This is amazing. This is great. That's way better than I expected. Wonderful. I'm with you. I'm in this too. I like a good resolution. Who here is on team no resolution? January 1st is just another day. Yeah, there's a lot of you out there. And who used to be the resolution makers, but then you became, this is just another day after all your resolutions tried and failed? Yeah, that's all of us. Yes. Oh, I love this time of year. New changes, and whether we like it or not, this is a season to think about change, and a lot of people do. Most I would say 25% of Americans, they make New Year's resolutions. And what's interesting, though, is all the statistics that come off of that. Within the first week, 25% of those people have already quit their resolution. By the second Friday in January, it's called Quitter's Day, because that's about 60% of people have already been done. So you're like living with hope still. Friday hasn't hit yet. Good for you. And then at the end of the year, only 9% of people will have said, well, the change lasted in my life. I got to see this resolution come to my life. All that to say is that change is something that so many of us want, and it's incredibly hard to get. Or is that just for me? Is there an amen out there? And we want it. We want to grow. We want to build, and yet it's really sometimes elusive. Anyone try to make a change in their life before? Maybe this is the year I'm going to eat better. This is the year I'm going to quit smoking. This is the year I'm going to try to be more patient when my kids are maniacs. This is the year I'm going to be less reactive and more responsive. The year I'm going to be more loving. The year I'm going to be more empathetic. This is the year. This is the year I'm going to quit bread. I'm like, no. The Lord says, give us this day our daily bread. That's biblical. So I'm going to stay with bread this year. I thought about giving up. Like, no, this is biblical stuff, guys. We've all been there trying to change and then feeling it's elusive, and we get frustrated and tired and upset, and we even feel shame and all this regret, defeat, because we don't get the change that we hope to see. And the problem isn't lack of desire or lack of motivation. It's, I think, honestly, how we think about change. We try to change. We try to be better. We try to do more because we think the answer is in the trying. It's in the willpower. I'm just going to try to get our way through the change. And so I invited you to this last year. I'll invite you again to this year, to start year by stop trying to change. Jesus in the Gospels never ever once said, try to be better. Try to be a better follower of me. Try to be more faithful. Try to be more loving. He actually he never uses the word try. It's not in his vocabulary. Try was never something that Jesus spoke about. He wants us to change the way we think about change. He wants to give us, a better way. A better way. A way that's not about trying harder, doing more, and striving. He gives us a new way in John 15, where we're going to spend the next few weeks. In John 15, we're going to see a few ways that Jesus thinks change can actually happen. It's through abiding and not striving. It's through practice and not perfection. It's together and not alone. That's where we're headed for the next few weeks. Today, I want to talk about this reality. Like, change doesn't come from striving, but from abiding. I want you to say the word abide with me. It's so crucial. He's going to change the way we think about change today. This is what John 15 is all about. He's going to say abide a lot in this passage, in this scripture. He'll say it about 11 times. He'll say it over and over and over again. Remain in me, remain in me, remain in me. And it's not because he thinks we're like slow learners. It's because he knows how we are hardwired. That we think that we're going to change with grit and with doing more and being better and willpower. And he's like, no, my power. That's what I want for you. There's a better way to go about all of the change and the growth and the fruitfulness you want to see in your life. Now, to add to the drama of this passage before we start breaking it down and understanding how to connect and abide with God, I want to just give you some context around this very moment. John 15, it comes after John 14. And the reason that's all important is what just happened was the Last Supper. John 13, he was washing the disciples' feet. This is the night before the cross. He is done with the dinner. He's done, breaking bread. Judas has already left to go betray Jesus. He's now with his disciples on the streets of Jerusalem at night. The air and the environment has completely changed. He is on his way to the Garden of Gethsemane, where he is going to pray in anguish as the disciples struggle to stay awake. And while he's walking on this road in John 15 to Gethsemane, I imagine that Jesus is seeing the vines growing on the streets, or maybe a vineyard out in the distance. That would have been very common. Jesus knows full well what's about to happen to him. He's about to be betrayed. He's about to be mocked and tried and crucified all within the next 24 hours. He not only knows that his time is short and what's about to happen to him, he also knows what's happening with disciples and that in just a few days, they're going to be given this great commission to go make disciples in all the world. They're going to be given this huge responsibility. They're going to face all kinds of opposition and challenge, and this would be a good moment kind of on this walk. Hey, Jesus, you got like a game plan for us? You got a strategy? You got a 5-point? You got like a PowerPoint for me to see here? We need to know what's about to happen, how to get through, how to grow, how to change, how to last. And instead, Jesus, as he's looking at these vines or a vineyard in the fields, he gives them an image of a vine and a gardener, some branches, and some fruit. He's hoping that this image is the thing that's going to stay with them more than anything else. And the whole image that he's painting is that what you need the most is not to try hard or do more or be better, guys. His message is going to be stay connected. Stay connected. Stay connected. If that's the message of Jesus, I want to know how to stay connected. I don't know about you. I want to know how to stay connected. We're going to talk today 3 ways that we can stay connected to this Jesus for our fruitfulness, so that we can last, so that we can grow. Let's start in verse 1 and identify one rhythm of staying connected to having an abiding life. One rhythm of it is admitting our disconnection. A way towards connection is admit the disconnect. I want you to check out verse 1. This might be a strange verse for you. Here's what he says. I am the true vine. I'll read through verse 4 for us. And my Father is the gardener. He cuts off every branch in me that bears no fruit, while every branch that does bear fruit, he prunes so that it will be even more fruitful. You are already clean because of the word I've spoken to you. He's talking about the gospel. You've already been cleansed by my word. So remain in me, and I also remain in you. No branch can bear fruit by itself. It must remain in the vine. Neither can you bear fruit unless you remain in me. So we need to first admit our disconnection. The opening line of this passage really matters. He says, I am the true vine. This might be a strange image for us to consider, but this wouldn't have been a new image for the disciples at all. This would have been a very loaded, striking moment for the disciples. You said, what? This was the sort of language that would get Jesus crucified. The reason why is that in the Old Testament, God's people, that's Israel, they were identified as God's vine, God's vineyard. It's an artistic way of saying, you're my people, you're chosen to bring life to people. You've been chosen to be a light in the darkness. You've been chosen as a holy nation, kingdom of priests, royal priesthood. You're going to be my image bearer. You're out there in the world drawing people to see my love, my mercy, my justice, my righteousness. That was the whole point of Israel. And at every turn, Israel failed over and over again. And so what you see in the prophets like Ezekiel and Jeremiah and Isaiah, you see it in the Psalms, this description of Israel. You're this vineyard and you're producing bad fruit. You're not doing the job. You're failing every step of the way. Let me give you one example. This is from Isaiah chapter 5, verse 7. The prophet writes this about Israel. The vineyard of the Lord Almighty is the nation of Israel. God looked for justice, and yet he found bloodshed. He looked for righteousness in them, and yet he heard cries of distress. You were the vine. This was your job, to shine the glory of God to the rest of the world. You were supposed to be blessed, to be a blessing. You ruined it. You messed it up. You failed. And so then Jesus comes and he tells these guys the night before the cross, hey, you see these vines, right? I'm the true vine. You know what that makes you? You're not the vine. This would have been striking. What? Then what are we? That's a great question. You're not the vine, you're the branch. You're a branch. Embrace that. And we don't like that. We don't like being the branch. We like being the vine. I want to talk to you a little bit about this. There's this disconnect for a lot of us when we stop trusting in the vine of Jesus and we start trying to be the vine, okay? There's disconnect. There's another disconnect when we stop trusting in the vine, the true vine, and we go after fake vines. Let me explain both scenarios and how they both will lead to the same place of exhaustion, frustration, fatigue, bewilderment, you're burned out, you're exhausted with life. Okay. One of the reasons that you may not be growing, that you might be struggling to change, to flourish, to see fruit in your life, is because you've disconnected from the true vine. You become the vine. What that looks like is that all the strength that you're looking for, you're trying to find within yourself. all the peace that you're looking for. You're trying to like manage peace. All the joy, all the love, all the satisfaction of life. You're like, okay, I'm going to keep all the plates spinning. I'm going to try to be everything to everyone. I'm going to try to be God. I think I can, I think I can do it better than God can do it. I'm going to be the vine. Life is going to flow, not just in me, but it's going to flow through me. I'm the vine. And we try to play that out. How's that going for you? How's it working for you to be the vine? To feel like everything is on you. Maybe the reason that you're walking into the new year feeling absolutely crushed, burdened, burned out, exhausted, is because you are playing the role of the vine rather than the role of the branch. Let those who have ears hear. And then there's others of us that it's not that we're trying to be the vine. We're okay being the branch, but we're not connected to the true vine. We're not connected into the life of Christ. What we've connected into is a fake vine. We got fake news, we got all kinds of fake stuff. There's fake vines. You're like, well, what would be a fake vine? A fake vine would be like the vine of success. And the idea is, I'll connect into this. This will give me all the life that I need, all the satisfaction, all the joy, all the peace. It'll give me everything that I need. If I can just connect into achievement, as long as I achieve more, then I'll have everything that I need. We've connected into the fake vine. We're exhausted. How's it working out for you? And then some of us, marriage is the vine. And what I mean by that is you have placed onto your spouse expectations that only God was supposed to be in your life. You have lifted them up to be God for you. And because of that, when they don't do the thing that you want them to do, which is worship you and satisfy your every need, you get bitter and resentful. And you're like, why is this vine not working? Well, because that was never intended for your life, joy, satisfaction. Wrong vine. Wrong vine. Some of you, it's your kids. Think about the burden you're placing on your kids. The temptation is so real. Oh, little Johnny, he's going to Harvard. And so now, because little Johnny's succeeding, you feel like you have life and joy. You've done good as a parent. You found all your reputation and satisfaction and peace in Johnny performing. What happens the moment Johnny doesn't perform anymore? You're wrecked. Because these are vines that were never meant for you. Your kids are meant to be your kids, not a vine. Jesus is the true vine. We got all these fake vines vying for our hearts and attention. And we wonder why we're exhausted and burned out and stressed and disappointed and fatigued, and we're not attached to the true source that'll actually produce the things in our life that we want. And what Jesus says, man, if you don't, as a branch, remain in me, you can do nothing. You won't bear fruit. And so what Jesus is describing is, you know what the difference between like a branch that's on the vine and a branch that's not on the vine? What is that? This is just now a stick. You're no longer a branch, you're a stick, because you've disconnected from the life source. Now, here's the issue. This is where it gets tricky for Christians, right? Or for us, is we're like, okay, I'm gonna disconnect from Jesus. I'm either gonna try to be the vine, or I'm connected to some dead vine that's not actually gonna satisfy. What I guess I'll do, I'll willpower my way for fruit. I'm gonna tape on some fruit here and act like I'm alive. And this is what's scary with church, is there's a lot of people in here, you're acting like you're alive. You're acting like you're connected somehow. You look the part, you're dressing right. Like, it's so easy to like look alive. But really, it's just taped fruit. And like a month from now, this thing will be, I'll keep this just like this. I'll show you a month from now what this looks like. At the end of the series, I'll show you where this goes. It's not going to go well for these fruits. They're going to rot. Why? Because you were never connected to the life source. Okay? Okay, this is actually what's really scary. Is Jesus says in Matthew 7, like, there's gonna be people who are gonna come to me, and they're like, Lord, here I am. He's like, who are you? And what's scary is, it's like, wait, Lord, the second part of this conversation is, but I did ministry in your name. I was doing all the things. I've got fruit, taped fruit. I've been doing all this good stuff. He's like, yeah, but I never knew you. We were never connected. There's this divine disconnect. And what's really actually compassionate about God is that he will give us signs of this disconnection. The fact that you're feeling exhausted, frustrated, fatigued, burned out, overwhelmed, stressed, it might just be that either you've been trying to be the vine or you've been connected to the wrong vine, and it's God's compassionate way showing your soul has a dashboard, right? And these little engine lights, they're coming on. There's something amiss. There's a disconnect. Something's gone off, and he's here loving you today to say it's time to connect. But that only happens the moment we admit the disconnect. God, I've been trying to do this life in my own power, in my own strength, in my own way. God, I've been trying to improve in my own power, in my own strength, in my own way. God, I've been trying to do this marriage in my own power, my own strength, my own way. I've been trying to do this parenting thing in my own power. I've been trying to do this job thing. I've been trying to provide for everybody in my own power, in my own way, in my own strength. And God's like, yeah. How's that working? I love you. Come on, connect. Come on, connect. Starts with admitting it. I can't, God can, I think I'll let him. Okay? This is a loving God. He loves us enough to let us know. He's the true vine. Okay, second step is to actually abide in him. Okay, so if we want to stay connected, it's going to start with admitting the disconnect, and we have to move into an actual practice of abiding. There is such a thing. Let's look at it in verse 5 again. Verse 5. It says, I am the vine, you are the branches. If you remain in me and I in you, you will bear much fruit. Apart from me, you can do nothing. So that word remain, it's a really common Greek word. It's the word meno, M-E-N-O in the Greek, meno. And meno has a range of meaning, but it can mean to stay, to dwell, to settle into, to make your home, to abide. That's what that Greek word meno is. And so this is not a word about a quick visit. This is not like, oh, I'm just visiting my neighbor. This is not just, oh, I'm here for a weekend, I'm visiting in, I'm touching in with my grandparents. No, this is a word that was commonly used in that Greek day 2,000 years ago, like when you're living in a home. This is your home that you have this is your abode. You've minnowed there. You live there. So when Jesus is saying, abide in me, I love Eugene Peterson's translation of this in the Message version. He says, live in me. Make your home in me. This is abiding. It's not think about me occasionally. Add me to your check box on the mornings to give me a verse a day. This is a whole different lifestyle of ongoing, continual relationship. It's not doing a bunch of religious activity. No. It's not what you can do for Jesus. It's living with Jesus day to day. Like, well, I got a job to do, Daniel. I can't what do you want me to do? Meditate in a quiet? No, being aware of God at your work. being aware of Jesus' presence at school. It's being aware of Jesus with you when you're in some heated fellowship with your spouse. Jesus is here. It's with you at 3 a.m. when you're changing diapers. Jesus is here in this moment. He's with you at the gas station at 5 a.m. He's with you at Publix. He's with you at work with your boss and that hard meeting you got to have. He's with you. It's this ongoing, continual relationship. Oh man, he's right here in this moment with me. It's being in the scriptures, not for checking a box off, but I want to hear the texture and the tone of his voice so that when he speaks to me about this situation, I'll know it's him and not me. I'll know it's him and not all my friends. I'll know it's him and not the culture. I'll know it because I know the tone and texture of it. That's why we're in the scriptures, so we can hear his voice. It's this continual prayer that we have. And once we start realizing, this is abiding, this is the life that we're being invited into, that he's with us. Whoa, that changes how I treat my wife. Doesn't mean I'll never mess up, but man, I want to be quick to repair because Jesus repaired with me. It's going to change what I do when my kids are being maniacs. I'll know how to love them in it. It knows when I'm stressed at work, Jesus, he's here. He's got my future. He's providing for me right here in this moment. Does this make sense? It will begin to change and shape everything about you when you know that Jesus he's with you. I want you to compare it to your closest relationship. It could be with your spouse, parent, child, close best friend. If with your best friend, you said, you know what, here's my commitment to you. I'm going to come see you once or twice a month on Sundays. And I'm going to call you only when I'm in trouble. And I'm going to listen to you only when I need it or when it's convenient for me. I just wonder, how would that relationship with your closest friend look? I imagine it would feel distant, it would feel dry, maybe disconnected. Even though you're technically in relationship, it doesn't feel right. And some of us, this has been our experience with Jesus, and then we wonder why we're not changing or growing, or flourishing. Well, there's this distance. And it's not that Jesus has gone somewhere. Is that we sort of just bought this idea, well, this is what Christians do. This is sort of the game we play. We have relationship with Jesus, and then it's it doesn't really look like that. It's abiding. I think one of the reasons that abiding is hard is because it's this promise of be with Jesus, and then eventually there'll be fruit. Eventually change will come. Eventually you'll flourish. But your job isn't the fruit. Your job is to be with Jesus. God's job is the fruit. Your job is to be with Jesus. And why that's so hard is that's completely flipped from what we experience in life. What we experience is do something good. And then what I'm going to get on the other side of that is relationship. We've been taught this since we've been kids. Maybe it was a grandparent, maybe it was a coach, maybe it was a parent, maybe it was a sibling, a friend. As long as you do something good, as long as you achieve, you're approved. As long as you perform, you're accepted. And so abiding is completely countercultural. No, I just love you. The gospel, it's in you. You're loved. You're forgiven. Be with me. And the fruit, the production, it'll come one day. But I want you. And we're like, no, what we need to do is I got to clean myself up, and then I may be able to be relating to you because we've learned this. Get the good grades, and then you get ice cream. Do well in your basketball game, kid, or you're not going to get my love. And it was all conditional. And so we're hardwired, programmed to go against abiding. Abiding does not feel comfortable to us. What feels comfortable is earning his love, earning relationship. And he's like, no, I love you. Relationship's available. You remain here. I'll take care of the rest. So I want to make this really simple for us. How do I abide? Just abide. Make time to connect with Jesus every day and throughout the day. It could be in prayer, it could be in the Word, it could be just an ongoing awareness of his presence in your life. Let that be the most important thing you do every day. And let all the result stuff, the flourishing, the change that we want, the impact that we want, the fruit, let that all be Jesus. Let that all be the outflow of an intimate relationship with him. We have a companion guide for you. We're doing a 21 days of prayer starting today. And so we built out a little companion guide. It's very simple. Just to help you connect with Jesus. You'll get one of these as you go today that'll help you just one day, every day, just connect with him in a very practical way. I want to stay connected this year. It's going to require me to admit where my disconnection is, where I try to be the vine. It's going to require that I abide. Last bit, and this is uncomfortable, it's going to require that I accept the pruning process. Okay, this one's not that fun, but it is beautiful. Okay, let's go back into verse 2, if you could. Are you guys okay today? All right, Happy New Year. Okay, so Jesus off of verse 1 says, I'm the true vine, and my Father is a gardener. And then he starts talking about in verse 2 that every branch that bears fruit, he prunes so that it will be even more fruitful. All right, so what is pruning? We getting gardeners in here? You know, pruning is you take the shears, you take a knife, and you cut away at the branch. You take something out. And you know as a gardener what it's for. You know that it's for future growth, for more fruit. But in the moment, imagine being the branch. That's uncomfortable at the minimum. And what's so important to get here is that while pruning might be really hard, and it is, and it's uncomfortable, this cutting away, this something being taken out, it's not actually a sign that you're doing something wrong. It's actually a sign that you're doing something right. Because the gardener prunes who? The ones who are fruitful. He's not pruning the branches that are dead and on the ground. He's pruning the fruitful ones. And so maybe, just maybe, this is not a sign like when you're going through hard things or you feel like life is cutting away at you or you feel like things are very uncomfortable right now and I'm going through things that I never intended to go through. Maybe, just maybe, it's not a sign of God's distance, but it's a sign that he's really close. Because here's the thing about the gardener, and you know this if you deal with plants, is you're never closer to the plant as the gardener. You're never closer than when you have a knife in your hand. God, look, he's never closer than when he's got the knife in his hands. And he's wanting to cut away. He's wanting to take out things in your life that are keeping you from flourishing, from fruitfulness, from change. Today, you might be going through job loss. You might be going through a cancer diagnosis. You might be coming off the heels of a painful end to a relationship. You might be in the midst of grief. You might be in the midst of a breakup. Something really painful. Not saying that God did those things. What I am saying, though, is he's a gardener who is good, and he is working in the midst of those things, pruning us. Not that these things had to happen, but he is good to work and cut in the midst of those things. You see, I don't think it's just the circumstances that are the pruning. What's really pruning is the word that God gives us in the midst of the circumstances. He says, it's my word that cleanses you. Not only does it cleanse us, but it comforts us, right? It cuts at us. I've seen this happen in marriages before where, man, it's like this volatile thing. It's really bad. And then God's like getting in a word. He doesn't need all of that, but he's getting a word in that as this beautiful gardener, as this professional gardener. He's like, hey, forgive. That's the word. In the midst of this pruning moment, forgive her, forgive him. And there's a pruning, there's a cutting away of your pride and your selfishness. There's a does that make sense? He's pruning so that you could be even more fruitful. Couple of examples. I have a lot of pruning moments that I'm aware of in my life. And I'll give you one. In college, I was a mess. I was running after the world. I made a mess of college. If I could do it over again, I wish I could do it over again. I can't. And God wasn't pruning me in those. I wouldn't hear it. I would not hear it. But after that, when I started following Jesus, like full on, he was convicting me, correcting me, rebuking me, shaping me off of all of that experience. You know what's crazy is that a couple years later, I go into ministry. My first full-time job in ministry was a college pastor. Like, what? Yeah. What I want to do, Daniel, is I want to take you and all the stupid that you did and this pruning that has now happened so that you can go back to those college kids so you can love them enough to be with them, say, man, I've been there, done that, love you, God's for you, God's got a better way, right? Some of you've gone through incredible loss and you've suffered, and then the Lord pruned and showed how he cared for you and comforted you, and now you are leading grief share. Or you're at every funeral at our church because you want to help people know that God's with you and for you and loves you. Some of you have gone through painful divorces and you've gone through the pruning process, and now you find yourself with a ministry just loving people who've gone through divorce. And some of you've had such painful experiences at church and you feel so alone, and then you get pruned through all of that, and then you get on the welcome team and you want to just love people through your welcome. You want them to experience the welcome home of Jesus. And what that is God, he took those things that didn't have to happen, but they did, and he's expertly pruned you, and now there's this fruitfulness in your life, in your ministry, where there's greater impacts. Right? Like this is happening all around. I'm seeing little blooms all around here, guys. Get excited to be pruned. Accept it. We got a choice here. We can either accept it or we can deny it. I say accept the process, man. He wants to prune you.